Welcome back to another Minecraft update video. This is pre-release 1 for 1.21.2. This means that we're getting close to the release of the bundles of bravery drop. This, my friends, is not to be confused with the winter drop, which houses the Pale Garden biome and the Creaking mob. Despite that, there are actually changes to the Creaking and the Creaking heart inside of this pre-release. It's all getting a little bit confusing. I just happen to have made a video on this very topic recently, so if you want to get your head around what's going on with the updates, check this one out after this video. And speaking of this video, I'm going to be unable to record for a week. So while the pre-releases and release candidates roll out, I might not be able to keep you up to date. But when I'm back, I'll drop a video bringing you up to speed on all the changes. So with all of that out of the way, let's now get into the changes in this bundles of bravery drop. A new game rule has been added. This is known as disable player movement check. This is very similar to disable elytra movement check. Sometimes on multiplayer servers, you could get kicked for flying with your elytra. This could just be a connection issue where the game thinks that you're cheating. And so the elytra game rule was introduced to help you overcome that. And it seems now they've just added one for all movement speed, regardless of the elytra. So this would be useful if in your console you would see messages about the player moving too fast and then being kicked from the server. You could enable this and hopefully it will solve those problems for you. Next up, we have a new air bubble UI, and UI is user interface. It's the thing that appears above the hunger hunches. So let's drop down into the water, and when we're fully submerged, you'll see that they pop and disappear with an animation, but then we get these empty air bubbles down there as well. And if you were paying attention, this came with a new sound. So when the air bubble pops, you'll actually hear a pop sound. But let's go ahead and hear this without all the aquatic environment sounds. That is a pretty cute little sound right there. And of course, these new textures and sounds can be customized through a resource pack. Next up on the website, we're going to check out something very interesting called camera overlay. The part of the game that creates this overlay when you equip a carved pumpkin is now data-driven through the component system. In this command, we're going to give ourselves a stick, but notice that it's equipable in the head slot. And we're also going to specify that the camera overlay is a block of dirt. So do you know what happens when I equip this stick onto my head? Nothing. I'm joking. You don't actually see what happens when you're in F5 mode. So when I put it on and we're looking straight ahead like this, dirt is all I can see. Now this next magical stick is called zombie, and it's going to overlay the zombie skin texture like that, which is just really, really odd. Now, these textures can also come from a resource pack. Huh? What the heck is going on here? Why y'all spawn up in the sunlight, yo? I wonder what's on this next stick. Oh, it's the fandom wiki, I see. Look at all of those ads, that's just ridiculous. Another great reason to remind you that the Minecraft wiki exists. Just visit minecraft.wiki. Also, I love the Halloween theme here, this is gorgeous. All right, enough with the goofs and the gaffs. Well, how about just one more? Oh, that's right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, one last one here. Let's get serious for a second. This doesn't work with animated textures at the moment. I don't know if that's something that's going to get fixed or not. I imagine it will, but I just want to say a quick thanks to Ewan for providing us with the commands and the textures for this demonstration. Now, we're almost done with the bundles of bravery drop. I got to admit it feels so weird to say drop instead of update. I thought I should mention in the technical changes, there's a bunch of stuff related to particle effects here. And once again, a whole bunch of bug fixes, but it's the usual case of things from the last few snapshots, like horse armor no longer has the enchantment glint. So they added that and then it got broken again and then it's been patched again. And so I don't think there's anything essential to know about in the bug fixes this time around. As always, you can find a link to the article in the description box down below. This means we can now get to the 1.21.3 stuff, which is the winter drop. Creakings were able to spawn when do mob spawning was set to false. That has been corrected, as well as creakings from a spawn egg or one that has spawned from a creaking heart will ignore a creative player. This is much more consistent with the behavior of other mobs, like this skeleton right here that's just ignoring me. Of course, if I were to switch to survival, then it would start paying attention to me. Now, we're able to name tag this one that I just summoned in using a spawn egg. This will prevent it from despawning. But if you have one that spawned naturally like this fella, name tags will no longer work on them. So this means you can't stop them from despawning. Okay, I've given myself night vision because this place gets terribly dark at night. And I got some spawn eggs down here. Let's go summon in a Vindicator nearby and notice how it immediately moves away from the creaking. Will the same thing happen with a Pillager? As you can see, it's fleeing. We've got an Evoker here that also immediately does the off. I can't even figure out where that guy sprinted to. Last of all, in the Illager family, we have the Ravager, which can also destroy leaves, right? It might destroy a few on its way out of here. Oh no, buddy, there's another creaking down there. I have just discovered that you can't middle click on a creaking to get a spawn egg. It's a bug. Someone should report it. On the topic of leaves, these can be sheared and silk touch, and there was a test that I forgot to conduct in our previous video. We're simply going to take these leaf blocks to a different biome and place them down. As you'll see, they retain their grayscale color. And what happens when we do the opposite? Well, oak leaves are actually affected by this. Spruce leaves are not. And neither are birch leaves. These are their actual colors. The jungle leaves are desaturated. Acacia, dark oak, and then we'll see mangrove as well. However, cherry and azalea, these are not affected by the desaturation. And due to the inconsistency of that test, I wouldn't be surprised if they made some changes here. Although maybe having a mix of both outcomes isn't a bad thing. Another detail I missed is that all of these blocks are compostable. Next up, a change to the Creaking Heart. Can you guess what it is? It involves a comparator and redstone. Let's put the correct block on top. Seems like I can no longer instantly kill the creaking. It's not an amount of damage thing either. Well, I guess I'm going to have to use a command. So it turns out that showing you this is going to be a little bit of a pain. Can you see the redstone lamp over there in the distance? Well, we're going to now turn and walk towards that, and you can see the lamps are slowly going upwards the closer we get over here, but it's actually because the creaking is getting closer to the Creaking Heart. Now, the distance between where the creaking was and that block over there is close to about 30 blocks. And we were informed that they could wander no further than 32 blocks away from the Creaking Heart. That one is a little closer than half the distance, and as you can see, it's just over halfway with the redstone lamps. So let's run the experiment again so you can really get the point. The closer it is to the Creaking Heart, the stronger an output we get from this redstone comparator. And maybe now we'll start to lure it away, and you can see just about that the redstone lamps are turning off. It is very awkward trying to do this stuff in survival, I'll tell you. Oh, and now this guy is following me when I'm in creative. What's going on? Anyways, you get the point. It now works with a redstone comparator. Pretty cool. And last of all, I wanted to mention that the launcher has received an update. The main thing just seems to be the buttons on the side are way more obvious now when you want to go and click on them. We can also see the changelog down here for what's new. And that really seems to be the main thing. I've also learned that apparently Minecraft has a WhatsApp channel. As someone who uses WhatsApp to talk to family and friends, that's really strange to me. But I'm probably just out of touch, aren't I? Anyway, that's all the changes in this pre-release, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be unable to record for quite a few days, so the next video from me might be like a recap of the pre-releases and release candidates or whatever happens. But currently there is no release date, so we'll wait and see what happens, right? Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.